Welcome back to Third Win Thursdays. It's June 22nd, 2023. This is Third Win Thursdays number 14. And as always, I'm joined by John and Eric, partners at TWG. How's it going?
What's up, everybody? Happy NBA Draft Day to those who celebrate.
Welcome
What do you
back. Welcome
think,
back.
John?
Look, I'll be honest with you guys. I'm at a point in my life where I enjoy all the transactions in the NBA and in really any league, even more so than some of the games. I'm like, forget about the postseason, forget about the regular season. I want the offseason, baby. I want to see the wheeling and dealing. And by the way, here in Washington, D.C., they are taking a wrecking ball to the roster for the Washington Wizards. Can we start there? What do you guys think of the Beal deal and now the Porzingis deal, which just happened overnight?
I heard the Porzingis deal was kind of getting wiped out, or talks were off.
He is going to Boston, but now
Okay.
Memphis is the third team, and Marcus Smart is going to Memphis.
Yeah. Is Chris Paul still on the Wizards roster, or has he moved along already?
Chris Paul is going to make a short stint on a ledger for the Washington Wizards, but I doubt he will ever see the floor for DC.
Clip that, Scott. Clip it.
I will. Who do you think is going number one pick?
It's obviously Wemby. It's going to be Victor Wembanyama. What I'm curious about is, and maybe I'm biased because I just listened to the ESPN Daily podcast, is where the Thompson twins are going to go, because they're from Overtime Elite. And this will be the first time Overtime Elite has had lottery picks come out of their league. So just kind of that's the startup that's really challenging alongside the G League. But like really Overtime Elite is challenging the whole college basketball model. And we'll see. Maybe one of the Thompson twins will end up in DC, and we can follow one of their careers at least from here.
And there you go. All right. So let's jump straight into the headlines this week. And first off, we've got some big money in a city that has come up various times during Third Win Thursdays. So here's the headline.
We love talking big money on Third Win Thursdays.
And Vegas, to be honest. So from Front Office Sports, Las Vegas NBA Ready Arena project grows to $10 billion. Oakview Group is leading a project originally budgeted for $3 billion. Vegas is targeting an NBA expansion team potentially owned by a group with LeBron James. I think last week we said LeBron's going to get his team in Vegas, but things move fast in the sports world and in the business world. My favorite quote from this, Eric, was I think Tim Lewicki from Oakview Group said, "Whenever you walk in the room and you say, 'I don't need your money,' things go a lot better." And so apparently they're going to privately finance this $10 billion project, which is mind-boggling. And look, my whole thing was, do they really need another arena? I guess you can never have too many arenas in Las Vegas, but why wouldn't they just split the arena with the Vegas Golden Knights, like many other franchises do, that NBA, NHL co-tenant deal? But maybe it's just like there's so much money that can go into this project, we might as well go make our own arena and entertainment district around it.
I was going to say, they don't want their slice of the pie. They just want to make their own pie and have it for themselves. But it was interesting. What you just said, John, made me think of, I feel like I always bring up something like F1 or soccer related on Third Win Thursdays. But F1 also privately financed the Vegas race this year. Usually it's, hosted by, the track that might be running the event, and they're the ones who kind of front the cost. But it's interesting to see F1, to see this NBA venture through Oakview Group, to see them investing into Vegas, like you said, privately, and kind of being like, no, we want to make sure this is all us. This is all our decision. It's almost like, you see that because they see the opportunity there is to grow from there. And again, they don't want anybody to have any slices of their pie. So it's interesting to see how much money is thrown into Vegas and all of these entertainment districts, and where there is even space to build as close as you can to the strip, even though we've talked about all the desert land, and Scott envisions many entertainment districts all around Vegas. But this is an interesting one here to see the NBA come in. Oakland talking about selling in baseball. Want to have them come in. Obviously F1 later this year. Vegas it's already kind of been a hot spot, obviously, but it's about to blow up even more. So here we go.
Number one, we might have to set up a TWG outpost in Vegas in the near future.
We might have to.
And number two, so if the NBA is going to 32 and Vegas is almost definitely going to get one of the expansion teams, what is your number one city for the 32nd NBA team?
Seattle.
It's got to be Seattle, right?
Go back to Seattle.
Get the Sonics back in here. Let's start pushing that. Maybe our friend Megan Massimino at the NBA can help us with that.
There we go. Shout out.
Eric, I was expecting a Baltimore, Maryland, greatest city in the U.S.
Look, the Baltimore Bullets aren't ready to come back yet. They're not. They're not ready to come back. So I had to bite my tongue there.
All right, John. For the next headline, you called this actually during Third Win Thursday's number one. So 14 weeks ago, and at the OG during the OG episode. So shout out to you for this one, and here are the receipts.
They purchased NBC Sports Washington as well this year from NBC Universal. And so what they're really trying to do, you've even heard the Leonsis family kind of been interested in possibly buying the Nationals to basically be like almost a monopoly in sports here in the DC area. So what I think they want to do is control all of their IP across the board, including the broadcast. And they want to deliver like a new age.
Fighting a lot.
Yeah, they want to deliver a streaming service that is to the needs of all DC sports fans. It'll be a must subscribe for all DC sports fans. I like what they're doing here because you could probably charge DC, like the hardcore DC sports fans will pay $15-$20 a month for this. I would venture to say. I'm on a heater, guys. I feel like we need to start charging premium for our predictions here on TWT. But look, Monumental Sports Network. Do you want to pull up the headline here, Scott? And we can talk through this.
Pull it up for you.
So this just came out yesterday, and this is straight from the horse's mouth. Monumental Sports Entertainment rebrands its media platform as Monumental Sports Network and announces new content and programming for DC sports fans starting in the 2023-2024 season. So MSN, the Monumental Sports Network, is here. We will see once we get into the fall, once we get NBA and NHL back up and running, then we'll see the full rebrand. But Eric, we got a new regional sports network here. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss, as it turns out.
Here we go. Let's see what I'm interested to see what other DC teams they swoop up into their coverage. Obviously, like with MLS and Apple TV, that might be interesting. Obviously, Masson and the Nationals don't have the best relationship in the world, so kind of just making Monumental Sports Network be the true DC hub. It'll be interesting and exciting times over the next couple months to watch them navigate this space.
Well, look, the Leonsis family has stated they want to build the most valuable regional sports company in the world, right? That's what they said. They say this publicly all the time. So what I think they want to do is next move is buy the Washington Nationals, all right? Cut up that deal, that awful deal that they have with Masson and the Baltimore Orioles, which actually there was news this week too that they settled at least one portion of their disagreement between the O's and the Nats over MASN fees. But literally, I think that's the move here. The Leonsis family, once they settle this whole MASN dispute, they buy the Washington Nationals. Then they put them into Monumental Sports Network. Then you have Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, WNBA, esports, NBA G League, all of that DC sports content under one umbrella. And then like you saw me from 14 weeks ago say, then you must, if you're a DC sports fan, you must subscribe to Monumental Sports Network to get your content, right? There's probably going to be no other way. So look, I think the cool thing and this was buried in the press release, but Rachel Nichols, who's been out of the game for a little bit, is coming. She's a DC native, and she's going to be a featured reporter, analyst, featured talent on this new network. So I'm going to be curious to see how they do the broadcast differently, right? Sounds like they're integrating new camera angles and different style of broadcasting. A lot of new technologies coming in. A lot more sports gambling content's going to be built in there because you know that Monumental Sports is really big into that. But it's going to be fascinating to see. We're seeing regional sports networks kind of die, at least the traditional model. But this is, Monumental Sports Entertainment trying to vertically integrate their entire portfolio, right? That's what they're trying to do here. And hey, I'm fascinated to see how it goes. Hopefully, our good friends over there are ready for a big fall and winter. And I'm curious to see how they interact with the new ownership of the Washington Commanders too, because NBC Sports Washington has covered the Commanders for a long time. Does that translate over now with the new ownership with the Commanders?
Right.
Or did the Commanders dive deeper into their own network and dive deeper into their own programming in a separate network? Stay tuned.
Hey, and don't forget about the Defenders coverage too.
And people need more coverage of the beer snake. Honestly, that's what we need.
The Monumental Network app has to be better than any attempt that MASN has had at an app. So there's that.
Yeah, that's been pretty rough.
All right, and continuing with the theme of the day, here's the last headline.
All right. So, like the Suns, the Jazz are ditching their cable regional sports network. Jazz games next season will air locally on Sinclair's free KGZZ channel. The team will also launch a paid service to stream games as cable RSNs continue to lose rights. This has been one of the biggest trends of the year, right, Eric? The traditional regional sports networks are going bye-bye, and the franchises are taking control over their streaming rights. We realize it's not the case in every single league, but the really, really big leagues, NBA in particular, are saying we are going to take our streaming rights into our own hands, and cable is dying, so let's get off of the Titanic before it sinks, essentially.
That's it. They're all just running and trying to find the best way to move forward and get off of, exactly like you said, man, the sinking ship. It's kind of funny. Sky, you have to pull some numbers up. Of our 14 episodes, there's just been so much news over the last 14 weeks about regional sports networks and the reshapement and the restructuring of everything going on. So it's definitely been an interesting time. And, a year from now to look back and say, here's the setup of all the regional sports networks that are left, and here are the major players now. We're going to end up seeing, more YouTube TV sporting events. Going to find out, Amazon's playing games, and people will be like, well, what in the world was a regional sports network? So it's just another headline being added to a long list of headlines of just people making moves and the puzzle pieces kind of being tossed up in the air.
So one thing, too, that the NBA executives talk about all the time, and we've talked about with sports in general is that they're a media company disguised as a sports league, right? As a professional sports league. So all of these all of these business executives who own these clubs realize, like, why would I more or less outsource my broadcast, right? Because we're a media company. Why would I have some other media company do my broadcasting for me? No, I know how to do media because I have this massive social media team who's creating content 24/7, 365, right? So why not bring that in-house, right? And you get to control how everything shows up. So we've got, a lot of interesting, new, compelling, franchises that are looking at doing things differently in an innovative way and kind of saying, look, we see where this is going. Let's bring it in-house. All right. Let's modernize it. Let's innovate on how we've done things, and let's tailor it to the modern customer, the modern fan, the modern media consumer. Right.
All right. And Eric, in the same episode, you mentioned something about Sinclair, and I don't know if you noticed the little tip of the hat to that.
I did notice, but I thought I've already thrown too many shots at Sinclair this year, so I was trying to keep it a little low. Scott, way to blow my cover.
Sorry. Next time I'll actually bring up the receipts, just like we do.
There you go.
All right, and that wraps up the headline segment. So we're gonna go into our third win for the week, which is very interesting. I'll give a little bit of context, but essentially, this degree campaign is trying to increase access for the disabled community to the necessary equipment that they need to kind of break or surpass their limits. So they've teamed up with this wheelchair athlete called Aaron Wheels Fotheringham for this social media message, and they have all of these degree branded stunts. So it's a social media campaign. Feel free to check them out if you're interested in it. But here's the campaign.
Love it. And this is cool because it's both a wonderful message, and I'm sure it's like really, really fun to see these stunts. And like, again, how do you capture attention as a marketing executive? Like, you got to think outside the box, and you got to think about, how do I capture people's hearts and minds and attention, right? And like, something like this, where you've got stunts and something you haven't necessarily seen before, is going to be like something that will capture people's attention, while at the same time promoting a great message, promoting something that will include people who potentially haven't been included before, right? So I love it. I like what they're doing over there.
No, exactly. It's taking a platform like Degree and like their company Unilever, and being able to like build that awareness around to again community here, like disabled BMX riders, and doing really cool tricks, and that people might not have known of, but they're just putting them in front of the right audience and right in front of the right people, so that the stories can be shared. And that's a really good 3-win example. I like to, and I was reading this article about how this is an extension of some other projects they've done in the past, like with Fat Joe, they brought in once to do some kind of like really cool things with, again, the target market that they thought Fat Joe would be exciting for. And if I saw Fat Joe on a commercial or an ad, I'd probably stop and be like, what's this guy up to? And then you're learning a little bit more. And that's what marketing is. And once you get people's attention, it's about what you do with that attention. And they're doing a great job here with what they're building. So shout out to Degree, shout out to the awesome tricks that have been done. I got to watch some pretty cool videos, and yeah, I'm excited to keep talking about 3 wins like this.
Yeah, and the campaign is called Movement Champions. And it's meant to break down barriers, financial, cultural, or racial, that limit movement and exercise for some people. And they have these airbags, crash mats, gum shield, all printed with the brand's nonstop messaging. And it's like a interesting take on a crash ads campaign. So they're literally protecting people from trying new things. And just like their antiperspirant protects you on the daily. Now I sound like a brand ambassador, but
Sign him up,
there you
Degree.
go.
Sign him up.
All right, that's all we have for the week.
Hey, community updates. Scott.
Oh yeah, community updates.
Community update. So hold the phone here. So we announced another client.
Yep.
Another client joined the fold this week. Our first NCAA Division I college football player, hailing from the DMV from Northern Virginia, and playing for the University of Louisville, Nate Kariski. Welcome to the TWG community, Nate. So he's playing tight end for Louisville. He's got a chance to be one of their featured players this year at the position. He's another. So look. Going back to the Gonzaga well here, my alma mater, he's also a Gonzaga alum, so he definitely is a guy who believes in the mantra, the win-win-win mantra of TWG. And look, we're going to help him build up his brand as he establishes himself further as a player. And look, who knows what the future is like. A lot of our young clients who come in, there's so much sport in front of them. There's so much career in front of them. So it's like exciting to think about where some of these folks could end up, but we're happy to have Nate in the fold, and let's see what we can do with him. Maybe we can get him. He's a blocker at the tight end position. Maybe Degree wants to do a little work with Nate here.
I like a little strategy session on some Third Win Thursdays. But yeah, shout out to Nate. Oh. Shout out to the growing TWG community. I know we've said it before on the show, but we're really proud to be able to work with all different types of athletes, all different types of business leaders, entrepreneurs, people who want to make a difference, and people who fit into the community that we're building. And we're really happy to have the connection to Gonzaga, have the connection to football, basketball. We're looking at other different sports. We're talking to all different people, and we're so excited, not just to be adding more people for the sake of adding people, but because these people really believe in what we're building and what they want to do in the long term. And we're proud to have them a part of our team and be a part of their team as well. So shout out to the pipelines that have been being built. Shout out to the conversations and everybody who's been talking to us behind the scenes, and keep an eye out on us because TWG is here and it's here to stay.
Boom.
Love it.
Mic drop, Coach.
Right.
Mic drop.
Let's end on that note.
Sounds good, peeps.
Thanks for showing up as always. And we'll catch you next Thursday.
Always
Thank
here.
you guys. Always a pleasure.